we're talking about companies operating in South Arkansas or anywhere really, what should companies be explaining and showing to the community about what it is they're doing, the safety aspects, all of those things?
Well, first you have to start with the empathy for how they receive the information and how it benefits them. If you prepare something that is just convenient for you, it may not be helpful to the person you're trying to communicate to. So it starts with empathy on behalf of the industrial partners. Secondly, grasp the idea that just because the process is complicated, that the public and the municipal leaders can't grasp it. Right. So think about what essential information do they need to grasp this technology, to understand the process. And things like graphics are so helpful. When I see a graphic over a process that I don't understand, it allows me to conceive it and to then understand it. When I hear terminology or I read paragraphs, sometimes my brain doesn't work well with limited media. But if they would prepare helpful graphics, things that they could share, certainly they don't want to expose some of their proprietary information, but to help the public and the municipal leaders understand what it is they're doing is really square one. So they feel comfortable that they have a connection with the process. Another thing that the lithium operators could do is increase the amount of public exposure to their company and to their communication strategy. And we found in the emergency response world, when you're trying to take a very difficult topic and clearly communicate to the public what is helpful for them to make decisions and to understand what's happening, is if you do like an industrial fair or something that allows them to peruse the information at their leisure. Those that are most passionate or concerned will show up. And if you have good materials and literature for them, and that you have representatives there that can answer their questions and remind them that we're here to be a responsible partner. We're here to be a community member. We're going to put our kids in these schools. We're going to put our parents in the stands of the football games and the basketball games, and we're probably going to try to lease some good deer hunting around. Right. So it matters to us too. And if they have those touch tones, then the public will build trust. And if the public is prepared for an adverse outcome, then when it happens, they, in many cases, will be advocates. They'll be contributors to the response. We've had so many community members come to our aid as responders and say, hey, we've baked you a pie, here's some cookies, and they'll show up at the fire department and they'll bring just tons of food. And it's because they're not enemies of industry. When they understand what's happened and they know that the response is there to ultimately help the responsible party and the community, they can get on board with participation, because that's how communities work in Arkansas. Everyone pitches in and they form around a common goal, and would do so if something unforeseen happened.
Well, a big part of communities, of course, here in Arkansas, county judges, quorum courts, municipal leaders, they're all on the ground. They all have their roles to play in these communications and getting answers for constituents. So what questions should they be asking of the companies when it comes to safety and all these other issues?
Yeah, that's a great question. And being proactive is very important, particularly for municipal leaders. In the case of public health concerns, like the departments of public health need to be engaged so that they have the facts from the lithium companies to where if someone were to contact them with concerns, that they understand the nature of the work, and they can do their best at that moment to help abate fears or address concerns. For like fire chiefs and ambulance and local emergency responders, they need to understand the tactics and the resources in order to participate in an emergency response event or an environmental impact event. They need to know this material the best they can. And so the municipal leaders should meet with the operators regularly, and they should convene, perhaps develop a quorum to where there's regularly engaged topics about health and safety, environmental safety, even some response strategies, so that the fire departments feel prepared and partnered, and the lithium operators feel as though they can rely on those local resources when and if an issue exceeds their fence line or goes beyond their ability to handle it. If something were to happen, they're going to need the local municipal leaders to inform the public, to help the public stay out of the way if they need to, just to stay safe. They're going to be better leaders in the community if they know what's happening and they are prepared with either procedures or tactics, or just even if it's just communication and knowledge of new procedures.
Well, Dr. Scott Skelton, who is the Principal Exposure Scientist at CTEH, thanks for joining us today.
Certainly. Thank you.